Hi, beautiful community. Welcome back to another episode of Create Your Joy with my beautiful Shruti. And she's a life coach of self-love and, sorry,
Empowerment.
empowerment. I need you to empower me to remember
Oh.
your name. I'm sorry for that. Yes, and I'm Celin Dion. I'm a life coach, mindset coach, and purpose life coach. And I am so excited that you guys are here today. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And before we start our show, I just wanted to say that if you guys liked our Create Your Yoid podcast, please give us a like and subscribe. And also, if you have friends and family that you guys think that they're going to benefit from listening to these conversations, please share it with others. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to hear our song. Shruti?
Yes, wonderful. So today we bring a song that is very near and dear to my heart by such a famous singer, and it's the Because You Loved Me song by Celine Dion. And I just want to share something personal real quick that, I love singing. And though I've never pursued it in any other way, I did once sing in a talent show. And this was the song that I dedicated to my best friend, who had been wonderful to me at a really difficult time in my life. So this is a song that I still return to all these years later when I need to feel some inspiration and strength, and it never fails to inspire me. And who knows, maybe I will hum or sing a couple of the lines again. As I do, I can't help myself. But I think that's the power that music really has. It has such a power to connect us to a little kernel of hope that we can then fan into a flame, that keeps us going through the dark times. So, with that, I just want to dive right into the first verse here. And it says, for all those times you stood by me, for all the truth that you made me see, for all the joy you brought to my life, for all the wrong that you made right, for every dream you made come true. Anyway, I'll pause there, but I just can't help myself
Oh
but
my gosh, so
sing these lines.
beautiful. Wow.
It's an amazing, amazing song. And it just uh, made me think of how in life coaching, one of the biggest changes or shifts in perspective that I had was that I always wanted someone else to be there for me. And when I did the life coaching work and my own spiritual work, it really brought me deeply into how I have stood by myself through everything. Yes, people around you are supportive. You should be grateful. You should acknowledge the people in your life that give to you. But ultimately, you first have to be on your own side. And that is the only way that we get through this life. And, you know, the other piece of this is I loved how it said, for all the truth you made me see. One of the things that a lot of us suffer from is we sometimes gaslight ourselves. We sometimes stay in denial because the idea of change feels so scary. And so, I mean, what an amazing thing if you're able to see the truth of a situation and confront it. And of course, for all the joy you brought to my life. I think when I did my first ever meditation, that was or visualization, that was a connection to my inner self. That was one of the most powerfully moving days of my life because it brought me for the first time into this sort of space where I could anchor deeply within what I had been hungering for out in the world, which was this sense of being able to, just look in the mirror in my own eyes and be able to see, like, hey, I respect myself. I care for myself. I'll be there for myself. And that if there is any joy that's missing in my life, I know what's missing and I can provide it for me. And so anyway, so these lines kind of powerfully bring me back to that idea of self-love. And for all the wrong that you made right. If you do make mistakes in your life, you yourself have the opportunity to extract the lesson from those mistakes and make things right in your own life. And for every dream you made come true, for all the love I found in you, just my gosh, if I look back even on since in the 10 years or so before I sang this song, there is so much that has changed. And one of my biggest dreams as an introvert was to be able to find my voice and share it with the world. And I not only sang in front of people,
Wow.
but now, all these years later, I have a podcast and I'm able to share my authentic voice. You know, even if sometimes it's shaking and I'm not perfectly confident, I'm here and I'm doing what brings joy, what creates joy for me. So, and of course, for all the love I found in you, the kind of love that we're capable of giving ourselves, the well of joy that's hiding right here in our own hearts, there is no gift that is more precious than that. And in this case, the song says, I'll be forever thankful, baby. Like it's saying it to the person on the outside, but I give that thanks, that gratitude internally to my inner self. You're the one who held me up, never let me fall. And this is so true that we are held and supported by the deeper parts of us, even our inner critics only do things out of love. And the day that we understand that, they cease being our enemy. They become instead supportive parts of ourselves. And we can let them be in the car. We just don't let them drive the vehicle of our life. And finally, you're the one who saw me through it all. And so true. Today, I can say that I have a very positive relationship that I've cultivated with myself. And I know what I genuinely like or dislike. And I'm able to speak up for those needs. And what a beautiful thing for me, in fact, to be revisiting this song with you, Ivania. And I'm so curious to hear, since you had not heard this song in a little while, how did it land on you?
Oh my God. Well, two surprises. One, that actually I never listened to the lyrics specifically, like reading it. It was
Yeah.
more the chorus, like the stay with you, right?
Yes.
And another thing is like it was very beautiful how you were able to shape my mind of perception or
Yeah.
like you were able to shift it because I was thinking, oh, it feels like a love song. But
Exactly.
then you grabbed it and you sent it to your best friend.
Yes.
And to me, like when you said, like, oh my God, that's right.
Yeah.
So true, because you have at some point in our lives, we had this special friend that is there for just the perfect time when we need each other. And
Yeah.
then we can actually move forward and
Right.
they can go to a different path, but they're still there with you,
Exactly.
spiritually, mentally. And you guys, they have still a connection, but it's not as close. But I mean, you brought me back to like, oh, well, yeah, that's amazing. Because I had a beautiful friend, that we were super, super, super close. And we
Yeah.
are close, but not like that time when we were together,
Yeah.
like being back then, back in my 20s.
Yeah.
And I go, my God, it is so true. These words, they can be for yourself, which is
Yeah.
what I was thinking about. I always like to bring our higher self and the lower self coming into peace. But at the same time, you open
Yes.
my mind and look at it in a different way to a best friend,
Yeah.
which was so beautiful that when you explain it. Yeah, thank you for that. It's like, wow. And I can literally say like every sentence will land on my best friend,
Oh.
have, and it's like, wow, yes, yes, yes. Like you took me from a relationship,
Yes.
mentality of friendship, and then I was going into the higher self and the lower self, but then you
Yeah.
brought me up into no, a best friend also.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Exactly.
That was beautiful. Thank you for
Oh,
that. And then, I mean, we could come back and I make some points and the ones I like, but
yeah.
let's just move forward because I know it's gonna be able to say it again.
Yeah.
And then it says, you were my strength when I was weak. You were my voice when I couldn't speak. You were my eyes when I couldn't see. You saw the best there was in me. Lift
Mhm.
me up when I couldn't reach. You gave me faith because you believed I'm everything I am. Oh my goodness. This is such a beautiful lyrics. I mean, I love Celine Dion, her voice.
Yeah.
I mean, I can, even if I'm reading it, I can literally hear her singing in my ear.
Oh my gosh.
And she,
Oh,
and she sings with so much passion, that
yeah.
woman.
Yeah.
And then, so I want to go back. It says, you were my strength when I was weak. And you know what? If I may continue using a best friend, because
Yeah.
at some point we had this best friend, that even though we feel so weak at the time, there's support that comes in and they believe us because they're able to see what we're not able to see in ourselves.
Right.
And then but it's a good point you made when you say when you look at yourself in the mirror, you're able to see yourself, like who you really are, not that critic, not the lower self, not the
Yeah.
one is trying to beat us up, but it's
Yeah.
like the strength, that we have within us. And then you were my voice when I couldn't speak. And then,
Yeah.
when I hear that, what came up to me at the moment is that when we go into this reflection mode, or when
Yeah.
we have this a few minutes within ourselves and we try to quiet our body, not the mind, because the mind is always, our thoughts coming and going, but like when the body is still, then you're able to kind of hear your higher voice, like your higher self,
Right.
your wise voice. You're able to hear it, even if you can't speak, but there's no language verbally for your higher self and the lower self to speak to each other. You know that voice of which one is speaking. That you
Mm.
were my eyes when I couldn't see. And even when you have, I was thinking like when you have your eyes closed, especially if you meditate, or don't meditate, but when you have your eyes closed, you're actually seeing yourself. You're actually seeing your emotions
Mm.
besides feeling it. You don't have to have your eyes open to see where it hurts. You know where it hurts.
Mm.
And then I really like that. And is it you saw the best there was in me. You saw the best there was in me. And this one, we always get lost because when something is not going right in our life, or when something really bad or challenging is happening, right away that lower self comes in and say, no, it's your fault, you're not good enough, you should have done this, you should have done that, and it's blah blah blah. But that higher self is always ready to lift you up.
Mm.
It's always there, just waiting for us to hear and to attune. And I like that because it's that higher self is always going to see the best of you. Because the
Exactly.
rest is just noises. How we acting is because we try to respond to everything that's happening around
Mm.
us. So I really like that. What it said, you lift me up when I couldn't reach. And I really like this because what it says, you lift me up when I couldn't reach, is I feel it more like when we really are in our knees,
Yeah.
we're giving up, but we can't do anything. And
Yeah.
really, we realize that there's nothing that we can do, either to change someone or to change a certain circumstances, but only within us. I think we're able to raise our hand to say, I am ready to move up,
Yeah.
right? And I really
Beautiful.
like that. And it says, you gave me faith because you believed I'm everything. And then she finished with, I am.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know if the musicians or the artists, when they use the I am, they actually seeing that person as, or they are seeing themselves as a whole.
Mm.
Like I am. Like you don't need anything. externally. So you are complete in a whole, like you complete. And I really like that because it says, I have faith. It's not a hope, because when you have hope, it's like you're hoping something might change. It's not, yes, it's not true. But when you say you have faith, then it's gonna change on you. That will give you the desire, the will, and the energy and the actions to change because you have faith. Wow. No, it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I wish I can sing the way you sing.
Oh my gosh, maybe you'll try. I swear, I think this song energizes me. I'll probably sing again in a little bit here because some of the lines are just amazing. But Ivania, I loved how you delved into the lyrics here. And I just love the perspective that and the viewpoint that you brought in. And yeah, you're so right with the point about the best friends that, so many times, our larger world wants us to think about relationships in a really narrow way. But actually, friends and best friends play such an important role in our life. And sometimes they help us on our pathway to discovering real love for ourselves. Is because they loved us first. So they showed us what was possible. And then we can take their cue, we can borrow their faith and turn that light inward and go deeper. I think that certainly happened in my life. And so to continue with our next verse here, it says, you gave me wings and made me fly. You touched my hand, I could touch the sky. And I lost my faith, you gave it back to me. You said no star was out of reach. You stood by me and I stood tall. I had your love, I had it all. I'm grateful for each day you gave me. Maybe I don't know that much, but I know this much is true. I was blessed because I was loved by you. So this is my favorite part of this entire song, is for someone to come back to what they find most important, that maybe I don't know anything else is true, but I know that I'm blessed because I was loved by you. And of course, when I sang this song publicly, of course, I meant how my best friend was able to show affection and give me value at a time when I thought that I had failed at life, that I was somehow not a good enough adult. Where, and again, it's things like not getting the grades I wanted in school, something like that, which now when you're adulting and living your life, you look back and it's so minor, it can never define who you are. But at that time, it feels like it does. So you feel blessed because someone was able to love you despite what you perceived as your shortcomings. And for me, this part of the verse just feels like it lifts my spirits every time I read it or sing it. And this idea that you gave me wings and made me fly, that's how I've felt since connecting with my inner wisdom, is I just feel as though what I would have considered my limits as a person previously just have vanished. Like the sky has suddenly become so much wider and open to me, because what I considered my limits, like, I'm an introvert, I'll never be able to, present in public, or I'll never be able to, be a public speaker or something like that. None of those things exist anymore. And it's like I touched the hand of my inner wise self and I can touch the sky. I can do whatever I set my mind to. And this idea that you said no star was out of reach, like you don't have to feel separated from your dreams. You can truly close your eyes and feel the truth of your dreams, that they're right here waiting for you to reach out for them. And finally, just this one line gets me every time. I had your love, I had it all. And it's so true. I think it's the biggest treasure that we are waiting to find in our own life, is an enduring positive connection to ourselves. And I'm so grateful that in my life, through the life coaching work and through some spiritual kind of inner um, uh, curiosity and inner work, that I was able to discover this enduring treasure within myself. And I invite everyone here to give themselves that chance if you haven't. An unexamined life would be such a waste of time, So examine it, look at your own life, be curious about your own life. So that's my take on this verse, probably my favorite verse in the whole song, Ivania.
Wow, no, you know what? This is so beautiful, because so you gave me wings and made me fly. You touched my hand and I couldn't touch the sky. When you were reading the lines, you know what I thought of? I thought of one of my brothers,
Oh,
because I remember, that he's always been supportive.
yeah,
And I would never gonna forget. I mean, I was like 15, 16 years old, and he said, just do whatever you want. I'm here for you.
yeah,
When you fall down, I'll pick you up. And I didn't quite understand what he was talking about. But then I can see, like, every step of the way he's been always there for me. And then at the same time, you said something really good, because you said that you were able to get in touch with your higher self, to be stronger. And
yeah,
then I think when I was thinking about my brother, that whenever I would complain, oh, I don't have this, well, how come I don't have that? And he always brought me back to center and reality and said, well, you want it?
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead and do it. Like, and instead of, I just probably like was waiting to complain so he can complain
yeah,
as well, like commiserate with one another.
yeah,
He actually always stopped me, and he
yeah,
was always pushing me.
yeah,
And then I really like that, because I felt like he was actually gave me the support that I
yeah,
needed it. So I'd be
yeah.
able to connect with myself and do the work myself, and not that he did
Mm.
it for me,
Oh
but that
yeah,
he was there to pick
yeah,
me up. So I kind of felt like I couldn't do wrong. Even if I made a mistakes,
yeah,
I knew he was there to support me. And I really like this, because he said, you touch my hand, I could touch the sky.
yeah,
Really felt like I can go as high as I can. And
exactly.
even when I lost, because at some time, on some point in our life, we get lost. We
Of
really
course.
get lost, and we don't know who we are, we become a different person. Of course, we put ourselves in certain situation that we're not consciously, doing it on purpose, but we end up in a hole, in a sense, and it's so
Yeah,
hard to get out. And but that person is always there.
yeah,
But I like the fact that you said, because you strength your strength for your higher self, because you did the work, but you had your friend to give you
yes,
support. But
exactly,
you were able to connect and took that step and believe in you, not just your friend, but you.
exactly.
And I really, really like this. So beautiful. And then we say, I was blessed because I loved by you. And
Yeah,
such a pure love. And then, one of the things that I learned about my brother is unconditional love.
yes,
Of course, I learned it from my mom, but we take it for granted, because, oh, it's my mom, so she's gonna love me no matter what.
yeah,
But when it comes from a brother, that even until this day, I mean, many years have passed, and I still feel that he loves me
yeah,
unconditionally.
yes,
It doesn't matter what I do or what I say, if I make a mistake, he's beyond his
yes,
wise years, he understands, like, okay. And,
yeah,
and I do feel blessed to have a brother like him.
yeah.
And that's why I like how you took this song and took it to a different level for me. I wasn't expecting that. And that's one of the beauty of the Create Your Joy podcast. That we come in and try to give a different point of view or different songs. And then this, for me, you totally brought a different point of view that I love.
Yeah,
Huh? And thank you
yeah,
for that. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're so welcome. And I was gonna say that I find that we make new meaning when we
Yes.
actually, what
Yes.
we're doing is basically we're pausing and really allowing ourselves to become enveloped by the song, by the music. And we leave just the surface, which might be hearing the musicality of the song, and we actually go into the deeper waters. And
Yeah.
there's so much more to discover, when we're able to do this. And I find that for me, in the process of making our podcast, I have begun to appreciate these songs that were always my cherished favorites
Mm-hmm.
um, in a new way. It has refreshed the meaning
Yes.
of those songs for me. So I really appreciate that. And I just wanted to share one thing about the chorus, and then I'll send it back to you. Just being able to say, "You were my strength when I was weak." And I was going to say that for me, this song in many ways represents how I initially was able to, kind of receive help from a best friend, and then eventually, kind of integrate that, find and create a pathway from that into self-love. And in some ways, I had faith that this other person wouldn't love me if I was a terrible human being. Because a lot of us, including myself, if we have received conditional love, as we do, from teachers, or the larger world out there where we do a lot of different business transactions or what have you, a lot of us have an experience of conditional love
Yes.
and transactional, kind of appreciation or affection that we receive. So when we find someone loves us genuinely, even if we're doing something incorrectly, or not according to the other person's wishes, it just opens up that window inside of us
Mm-hmm.
that lets us know, hey, if this person can love me and hold me in high regard, I can do that for myself as well, you know and I really think that that changed um my perspective from having conditional love for myself. And the perfect example of this is never kind of celebrating my own successes.
Yes.
So what a lot of high achievers especially do in their life is that they'll continue achieving one landmark after another, and they never are able to pause and just feel the joy of having accomplished
Mm-hmm.
something really difficult, something really challenging. And that's the number one thing that changed in my life when I discovered self-love, is now I'm able to say there are certain days when I'm the best that I can do is just show up to where I need to be. I may not have it all together, and that is more than enough. That being able to show up, that's your self-worth. That's how worthy you are. Your
Mm-hmm.
presence is more than enough. So I just love that. And so just being able to, kind of see in this chorus how initially you're saying, someone else was my strength when I was weak. Someone else was my voice when I couldn't speak. You can get that help from someone who loves you truly from the outside,
Mm-hmm.
and then kind of lean into that faith and bring that faith deep into you, and then begin to offer that compassion to yourself. So I find that this song, in a way, is also a path to self-compassion.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful, beautiful. I mean, I don't know what else I can add on what you said, because it just, you explain it really beautifully. And then it just go back into a course. I will pick a few there,
Yeah.
and then I would like to to go back into the voice. You were my voice when I couldn't speak. That I really, really like a lot, because at some point we're not able to articulate, what we really feeling inside of it. There's so much pain, there's so much confusion, there's so much noise. And but when we find that space, I go back to when, like, we really are with ourselves, you're able to hear what you're
Mm.
really saying. And that's when it comes that compassion that you're talking about. Because most of the time we have compassion for other people,
Yeah.
and then we forget having compassion for ourselves. And also, I think also it's so humbling, this song, because as it feels like at some point everyone it's been there. And I keep on saying everyone has been there because we've been hurt before. We've felt like we don't know who we are anymore, and then we lost. So
Yeah.
I really feel that when we not resisting anymore,
Yeah.
when we're ready to move forward, we're able to hear the ones that support us,
Yes.
because we start listening to the one is putting us down.
Yes.
And then it becomes louder, that voice. Maybe not verbalizing where it says not that I couldn't speak, but then you start to hearing this wise voice like being louder. Like, no,
Exactly.
it's okay. And I really like this. It said, you gave me faith. And,
Yes.
and then, it's so good to know that that faith comes through you.
Yes.
That is not faith from the outside.
Mm.
But I really like that because it says, you gave me faith. And,
Yeah.
and I just think that when you down, so down that you're ready to move forward and you're taking those little tiny steps, you can
Yeah.
actually feel it and
Yeah.
see it. And that's when I say, like, you cannot see it, but you can see it, not physically, but
Yep.
inwardly, like you really start to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
So I really, really love that. And it says, because you love me. And that's one of the things, our higher self, our wise voice, the
Yeah.
spirit that we have inside loved us,
Yes.
And once we realize that, then we start working together with with the critic voice, with the lower self, and not just that, but the physical body
Yeah.
and the mind as well. We always try not to include everyone to
Exactly.
make peace with each other.
Beautifully said, Ivania. Beautifully said. You just touched my heart with that. And it reminded me again of how you talk about, focusing on creating that collaboration within ourselves
Yes.
and truly being able to integrate all of these different parts of ourselves into a real beautiful whole, that's always been there, but maybe it was just not perceived that way by us. And in this last verse, actually, I just want to say it says, you were always there for me, the tender wind that carried me. And I identify that tender wind as like this little whisper of the intuition that is ever present in our heart and mind. But because it's so tender, we sometimes don't pay attention to it until we're brought into a different frame of mind. The light in the dark, shining your love into my life. And this is what I equate in my coaching work, at least, to when we do a visualization with the wise self. And when I'm leading the visualization, I'll usually say, shine the light of your compassion onto yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're so good, we're so trained at shining that compassion on
Yes.
everyone else around us. But we almost starve ourselves of that compassion. Yet we are so worthy. We're so deserving of that. Um, so I love that line, especially. You've been my inspiration. Through the lies, you were the truth. And this is so true. That when you begin to seek that truth inside you, you're able to hear through maybe the lies that either our mind generates because of its conditioning, or that are present in our inner critic from a space of protection. It's trying to protect you at all costs, and it'll say anything to protect you, even if it's not the truth, just to get the desired result. My world is a better place because of you. And this is so true, that you know even if our outside circumstances remain the same, when we change our attitude or mindset about how we're approaching things, it changes the way we perceive things. And I'll give you the perfect example of this that I often do is when I'm feeling overwhelmed with the negativity of the news around me, for example. one of the things I remind myself is, what are all the things I get to do? So rather than feeling burdened that I'm this adult that has to do a job, I remind myself that I have the freedom to have a job. I get to do the projects that I work on. I get to work with a fabulous team. I get to, get up and have a place every day to go to, which is waiting for me to come and do something, and people that are counting on me. So, all of this to say that we're just one thought away from making our world a better place to be. And that you that we're talking about, never shy away, because it might be a best friend that is in your life that can inspire you in that moment and open up a little portal within you so that you can then dive in later and continue that work, that important work. And in the end, I'm everything I am because you loved me. And whether there are people in your outside world that shower you with love, or it is the light of your own compassion that you shine on yourself, there is so much to be grateful for. And I want to say that as we continue along this path of getting to know ourselves, and this important journey of finding and anchoring in self-love and improving our mindset, that we become very discerning about who are the people that are shining genuine love onto us, and who are those that maybe through their own pains they want to love us genuinely, but it doesn't fall on us in the same way, their compassion and their love. And when we're able to discern that, we can then distribute our energy in a different way, where we engage more often with people that are genuine, and we keep our distance, or we limit the amount of time that we have to spend with people that don't feel so authentic or may have different values than we do.
Wow. Yeah, no, it's beautiful. The way you described the whole thing is just beautiful. And then, just wanted to, when you said that tender wind that carried me, you
Yeah.
saw it as like a very subtle voice.
Yeah.
And then when I was reading it, for me, like what came up to me was no judgment.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Because that voice that you heard, it came so clean, like
Yeah.
it carried so much love into it that
Yeah.
the judgment, it was not even there at all.
Exactly.
And I really like that, what you said, that because the wind carry that voice with that judgment. That's what I added
Yeah.
to my mind, like, oh yeah, no judgment. And
Yeah.
and what it says, I light in the dark, shining your love into my life. But
Mm.
when I read this and you were reading it, to me, it's like, how our heart is beating, right?
Yeah.
And then when you actually feel it with your hand, when you hug it, it's actually, you become aware that
Mm.
the heart is beating for you,
Oh my.
for nobody else.
Mm.
And it's just so beautiful, because that's what I see, like the light, that's the heart to me, because it's beating for you. And even though sometimes we in darkest, in darkest state of mind, the heart is always there for you,
Yeah.
no matter what. And then
Exactly.
that's like, in a way, connection to the higher self, and I really like that. And say, you've been my inspiration. That what comes to me is that when we look back in everything that we've done in this life, we have achieved a lot. I mean, one is that we already won because we are living.
Exactly.
I mean, we were competing, I don't know, with, I don't know how many, sperms. You know what I mean? And like, we won.
Exactly. Yeah.
We here. We already won, and then now it's time for us to experience,
Yeah.
learn. And then that's how I see it. And every time that, like you said, you were successful in your career, and then
Yes.
you didn't celebrate it. But now that
Yeah.
you celebrate, now you go back and you can be your own inspiration,
Exactly.
Right. So you can continue moving forward. I say you've done it before. It's just this one is taking you to a higher level and then the
Yeah.
higher level. So which good and say my world is better. Oh, sorry, I missed one. Through the lies you were in through the lies you were the truth. My
Correct.
world is better place because of you.
Yeah.
And I really like this, just going back into a little bit of self-love, is that
Yeah.
we wouldn't have this body, we wouldn't be able to have the experiences in this earth.
Exactly.
So all of us, meaning the higher self and the lower self and this spirit, everything, the light with is in us, it makes a better world.
Yeah.
We can make it, we can create it with our experiences, with our inspiration, all the experiences that we had created. We want. So it's more enjoying it, enjoy the process. So I
Yeah.
really love this song. And I really like how you took it to the next level into a friendship or what I go, wow. It's really nice. And you know, one thing I wanted to say also is that when we work in ourselves and falling in love with ourselves and try to give ourselves the best as much as we can, when we
Yeah.
do that, you know, we have those friends like, you know, at the time your friend, my brother, that they're able to see all those things and then they remind you. It's like a
Yes.
reflection. And then when you do this work, then you inspire other
Yes.
people. And then that's how the ripple effects starts. Like it starts with you.
Beautiful. Well said, Ivania. Exactly. That someone shows that mirror to you, and then you turn around and you pay it forward. You do that for someone else.
Yes.
And that's the beauty of it. And I think also that when a friend or a brother or someone shows that kind of love to you, when you're able to discover that self-love yourself, you just shine that right back at them too,
Yes.
because our ability to love someone else is also largely dependent on
Yes.
how much we respect and love ourselves.
Yes.
And so if we are constantly hurting, we don't have any love available to give to even the people that are loving us genuinely. So I think this takes it, I think, maybe to another level where it becomes the most important work that you have to do in your life
Yeah.
in order to be really present and loving, truly loving with the
Yeah.
people in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I really love this. And then with that, you know, the ripple effect of love.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope that if someone in our audience has not heard this song, to please give yourself the gift and the joy that this song can bring. And really do slow down and take a moment and really think about what these words might mean to you.
Yes.
And share it with someone that you love and appreciate and maybe haven't had a chance to say these words to. And dedicating a song to someone is a lovely way of showing them how much you care.
Yeah. And I really like just to add a little bit what you said, just remember that even like sometimes when we don't have the words to express our feelings,
Yeah,
we have these lyrics
exactly.
to help us out. So
Yes.
yes. Yes.
Beautiful.
But with that, let's just bring it to close. And
Yeah.
thank you so much, everyone, for coming in all the time. And I'm hoping, Shruti and I, we're very grateful that you guys like these songs and the way we discuss it. And if you have a song in particular that you want us to discuss, please send it to us and we'll be happy to do it. And don't forget to like us and subscribe.
Until next time. Bye, everyone.
Everyone.